Cheers, Sword Prepper here. So let's talk about shtf. Let's talk about stuff hitting the fan and what you can do afterwards, and bring up some scenarios and then play them out and see what diligence we've done to prevent them. It's not going to be pretty, first of all, when the whole thing goes down. Not if, when it goes down, because it's going to go down. Whether 10 years, 2 months, a week from now, it's going to happen. Let's talk about that. It's not going to be pretty. There's going to be a lot of death. There's going to be a lot of blood. There's going to be people in the streets that have no idea on how to live. There's going to be massacres. There's going to be raidings and lootings. There's going to be disease and just death everywhere. All that stuff is going to happen, whether we like it or not. So, how prepared are you for that? Let's just say tomorrow you're at your son's baseball game, you're at your son's football game, you're out with your son doing something, and you have your bug out bag, you have your immediate bag in your trunk, and you stop. Let's just say you're leaving the baseball game, and a bomb goes off, a nuke goes off. Something happens, an alien invasion happens, Russia invades the US, something happens where the traffic backs up and there's loads of panic, pandemonium everywhere, and just screams, and your truck is blocked in. You can't move your truck, you can't move your vehicle, your car, you can't move it because you're hemmed in by other traffic, you're hemmed in by other vehicles, and the only thing you have now with you is your son and whatever preps you have in your vehicle. You can't take your vehicle with you. The roadways are dangerous. There's speeding cars going by. To be anywhere near the road or be on the roadside is dangerous. What will you do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna take your prep bag and go walk there? Well, how far can you walk? Have you tested that? Do you know how far you can make it on your own feet, on your own 2 feet? Most people spend more time moving, and this shouldn't be. No, I'm not talking about miles. I'm talking about time. Most people spend more time. A lot of people, I won't say most people, but I forget exactly what percentage it was. But a lot of people spend more time moving in a vehicle than they do on their own 2 feet, and that shouldn't be. So how far? You may have your prep bag in your trunk. You may have your stuff all planned out, and the routes you would take and your maps and all that. But could you make it on your feet? Is that something you can physically do? Can you physically walk how many ever miles it would take you to get from point A to point B? From your local baseball game, your local baseball tournament, to back to your location, your bug out location, your house, your bug in location? Could you do that? Do you have the stamina? Those are all very important things that we should think about. Those are all very important traits that we should have, that we should know about ourselves. Training, physical training is very important. I and a lot of other channels say to prepare now, start training now, start your physical physique now, start your training, start everything that you know is going to be important now. Start doing that, start getting ready for that, start training about that now, so that when it happens, you won't be behind the curve. You want to be ahead of the curve. You want to be ready for the stuff. You want to be the guy that prepared. You want to be the character in the movie, in every movie that depicts the chips falling. You want to be that character that was prepared. You want to be that's the guy you want to be. So are you ready for that? Can you physically hold out a journey without a vehicle? Now I know there's people out there that are older, 70s, 60s, and they physically can't go as far as, say, a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old. They physically can't do it. But that doesn't mean you physically can't get fit. That doesn't mean you can't physically improve yourself. And I'm not that old. I'm not a 70-year-old, so I can't talk for a 70-year-old. I don't know how the 70-year-old body works. I don't know how the 70-year-old, 60-year-old body feels. But what I can say is that I've seen 60-year-olds, I've seen 70-year-olds that are still fit and can still even run, that can still chase me. I've seen it. And what that takes is it takes eating right and physically moving your body, giving your body some physical training. That's what it takes. Train yourself physically. Train yourself mentally. That's also the thing you're going to need. You're gonna need to be mentally ready. That more than physically, I would say. They're both. When I say they're equal, I don't know if they're equal or not. I wouldn't call them equal, because if you're not mentally ready, I'd say mentally is more important. Definitely, mentally is more important. Because if you're not mentally ready, then all your physical training you've done, all the things you've done, all the push-ups and all the gun training, the target practice, if you use swords, all the sword practice that you've done, all that's not going to amount to anything. It's going to fail you because up here wasn't ready. Right here wasn't where it needed to be. And that's definitely going to be a problem. So you want to work that out now. Start mentally training now. I said this in one of my first videos, that train yourself mentally. Here's what I do sometimes. I might look at a picture. I might go and look up a apocalyptic picture, and then look at it. Say, I don't know, a burning Walmart, or a burning building, or just a city on fire. And then try and imagine yourself. Try to put yourself in that situation. Look at the picture, put yourself in that situation. And then ask yourself what you would do. Apply yourself to that situation. See what you would try and maneuver in the situation. You're gonna realize how good. Gotta get down. Sorry. You're gonna realize how well that works for you. How that's going to affect your mental stability. And just how much that can help. I'll tell you. I know it can help. It helped me a lot, definitely. But being able to apply yourself in these situations, being able to move, be able to look at a picture and then move, and do it, and work yourself out in those situations. That's very important. That's very important, and I think you should definitely learn how to do that, and definitely use that tactic. Another thing is being mentally prepared and being physically prepared doesn't just mean, work out, get your arms ready, get your mind ready. It means being able to go without a meal, those sort of things. Being able to function while your belly is gnawing on your backbone. Being able to function while you're thirsty. Being able to do those things, doing the things and getting your mind ready, getting your heart ready for that. That's all very important. You won't last long, even if you're not gonna last long, even if you've done all the training. You're buff. You can run a mile, all that good stuff. It's not gonna mean much if you can't function on a hungry stomach. If you can't function while you're thirsty. That is a major thing. Water is a major thing. How much water do you have? Have you thought about your water preps? Do you have your water preps ready? Can you move? Or your preps are ready, so that if you have to say, if you get an alarm, you've got some sort of threat coming to your area. If you're one of those people that your location, you plan on moving out, you plan on, when things happen, you're gonna get out of there. How ready are your preps to get up and go? Things like that. You should perhaps think about storing your preps in wheelbarrows, in carts that you can easily move. That's a good way to do things. Store your preps. Have a line of wheelbarrows, a line of carts lined up, and then store your preps in that way, and things that you can just easily move. That's a great habit, and that's a great way to do things. Things like that are very important, but mainly spiritually. If you're not ready spiritually, then mental, even if you're ready mentally, even if you're ready physically, if you're not ready spiritually, then it's all for naught, because you're gonna die and you're just gonna fail. If you die and you're not spiritually prepared, you're gonna go to a place that's worse than any world after a nuclear war, any world after an cataclysmic event can ever be. You're gonna long for that world that you just died from again if you're not spiritually prepared. So that's a major part of everything. Get ready. Do those things. Grow your gardens. Do you have any gardening experience? Can you produce a garden on your own? Can you run a garden? Can you run a garden on your own? Can you do those things on your own? If you don't plan on being alone, if you have a group, then Do you know that you can work with those people? Are those people trustworthy? Don't just run out and say, "Oh, don't just get into the game and then go try to run and find yourself a group." That's not the name of the game, and that's not something I don't think you should be doing that. Running out and immediately just going and trying to find yourself a group. You need to know the people you're going to be in with. You need to know who's going to have your back. You need to know the people that are going to be in your group. You can't just make a group out of people that say they're preppers, people that say they're like-minded. You don't know if you're going to work with those people or not. You don't know how your personalities are going to work. My suggestion is get together with those people as much as possible. Learn how those people talk, learn how they act, and see if you're a good fit or not. See if they are a good fit for you, and see if you're a good fit for them. Because if you're not a good fit, you are better off starting off alone. If you're not a good fit, then you could very well be looking at a civil war within your group. That's truth, and that's important. You could be looking at a very, very dangerous position, because you might have added someone to your group that in the end is going to sell out, that in the end wasn't ready and sells you out, tells all the surrounding groups that are potentially hostile where you are, how to get in, your defenses, gives you all away for a better looking group, for a nice hot cup of coffee or something. Those things are all very, very, very realistic, and very, 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 they can happen. And it's happened to many people, many nations in the past that their average way of living was in groups and was in tribes. It happened a lot, and it happens all the time. These things are very important to talk about. I think they're very crucial to being in this game. They're very, what's the right word? Because I don't want to say dramatically correct, perhaps. I don't want to say that they're crucial. They're crucial. What can I say? They're crucial, and that's all there is to it. But get out and train. That's one of the most important things you can do. You don't have to have all the money in the world to become a prepper, to become sufficient, to become ready to do these things. You can prep without spending a single penny. You can prep without spending a single penny. You can prep without doing these things, without buying these things. You can prep up here. Start up here, I think you should do. Start up here. You don't need all the fancy toys. I'm always saying that. You don't need all the fancy toys. If you're watching people with all the fancy toys and they're making you feel left behind, they're making you feel like you're too far to go, you're too far to be in the circle of preppers, you're too far to make it, you're already too far behind, and by the time things hit, you're already just going to be left behind. Don't think that way. If that's the case, then perhaps stop watching those guys for a while. Stop letting yourself feel that way, because it's not too late. It's never too late. If you start prepping from today and things go down tomorrow, you're one step ahead than you would have been. So that's encouraging. Encourage yourself with those things. Of course, no one's ever going to be as ready as they could have possibly been. That's just impossible. It's never going to happen. No one will ever be as ready as they could have ever been. But one day at a time. Take it one day at a time, one step at a time. Take it that way. Do those sort of things. Learn your area. Become acquainted with your area. Become acquainted with your neighbors. Are your neighbors safe? Is the area even a safe place to even try to start a preparedness venture? Is your area is it a place like that? Learn that. All right, warriors. Stay out of the heat. Keep prepping. See you on the line of battle.